welcome back to The Color of Success, the Black Academic Experience. My name is Brianna, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mai Tito. Today, we have a very special guest, Dr. Tiara Worsley. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Worsley?
Yes. This question never gets old and never surprises me. Yes, so I'm Tiara. I am from North Carolina, from a very small town. I think we have about 1,300 people, and we have not grown any. There's just people moving out. Yeah, I'm from that very small town. I've kind of always enjoyed tinkering around with my dad. I've hung out with him. I was just kind of always with him when I was little. Whatever he was doing, I wanted to do. And so I got real into like just tinkering. And I just really liked that I knew how to do things. Like I could uphold the family name because they all are just so good at doing things. And like none of them have really like finished school, gone to school. And for these to just be the most respected people in the community when people need things, I took pride in it. So I myself wanted to go into engineering, and I went to NC State for mechanical. I was first generation college. I didn't really have anyone to talk to about what to expect, what to do. So everything felt new just coming from small town living. NC State is like its own mega city in comparison with like 34,000 students. So it was just a huge difference. And I was struggling with one course, physics, and I was trying to figure out how to get past this hurdle. And I wasn't getting a lot of support on how to deal with it. So the people that are in place for you to talk to, like I went and talked to them, and they were just really dismissive because they have this like matriculation process, and basically they don't care about you until they know you're worth something. So it's like either you've got this 3.0 and you're in the program, or it's like whatever. It's just their weed out system. And so I'm way too determined to just give up. And also I didn't really know what it meant to change a major. In my head, that was like top tier big deal. Like if you change your major, you're not serious about school. I blame movies for that. They always make girls very desperate when they're in college. And kids who change majors are just, they're like rich kids just not caring, or it's a girl trying to chase a boy in his major. It's just, there was no good example. And, this is all I have because I don't have anyone to talk to. So I changed my major. I went into bio and ag engineering because they had this engineering technology type major. And this lovely lady actually took the time to talk with me and help me and ask me, why did I even want to do this major? And once I shifted majors, it just felt like 1,000,000 pounds came off my body. Like I could just refocus on what I was supposed to do. And that taught me, maybe change isn't bad. It's okay as long as you're still progressing. And so, yeah, I finished, and because I was so stress-free, I was just doing a lot better academic-wise, mental-wise, in every way. And so then I came up on graduation and panicked. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I figured why not do what we know how to do. So I just signed right back up for a master's program. Did not know what I was signing up for. Just said, sure, let me get back to it. And when I talked to one of the advisors, she agreed to take me on. We had our first meeting of the year because I think I graduated in like December, and I was right back in a master's in January. And so she was like, so what are you thinking for a research project? And I was like, what is that? And she was like, your research for a master's. I was like, again, what is that? I'm just here to do 2 years intense classes. She was like, oh, well, let's back up. Clearly things we should have talked about before she agreed to take me on. But we appreciate her. We appreciate her a lot. So in that conversation at the time, I was going to be a foreign service officer because since I was less stressed, I had studied abroad twice and I was like, this is the life. All I want to do is fix tractors in different countries. That was the dream. I'm going to be a foreign service officer and work on agricultural mechanics and just be in different countries. That was the path. And she actually suggested to me, she said, what if I did the Peace Corps? And I was like, is that thing like still exist? Because no one at the time, like Peace Corps hadn't really, revamped themselves. So it just sounded like this really like ancient organization. Because my first thing was like, are they even still in service? Like, because I just felt like they were flying under the radar. They've done better remarketing themselves, but they had a Master's International program where you could finish your studies and do research while you did Peace Corps work. And at first I was like, 27 months. I don't think so. That's a long time to be away. I'm just trying to do like 2 months max. Somewhere in that, it still didn't feel like a completely bad idea. So I just signed up and I went. So like 3/4 of the way into my master's, I went to Peru, worked as an environmental volunteer for 2 years. And then when I came back, I finished up my master's. And even then, I remember my advisor asked, she was like, do you have any intentions on getting a PhD? She was like, I'm basically asking because, we need to know if we need to put you in a non-thesis or a thesis option. And I was like, oh gosh, no, I hope I never go back to school. This is it. I'm done. This is totally it. So I
Look at you now.
I know. I was like, non-thesis. I'm just trying to get out. I want to work, which I did. What I wanted to do at the time was go into environmental education. Quickly realized environmental educators, like, really, these aren't life jobs you aspire to. They're not careers. It's like if you got spare time, you can do it. And then I just started kind of looking around. I was like, who in environmental education makes money? I just want to start there. Who makes money in this field? And from my viewpoint, the people that made money were the professors that majored in environmental education. That was their thing. So I was like, oh, I guess maybe I do need a PhD so I can make money. That was literally the base level of why I made the decision to even go get a PhD. And through one of my assignments with my environmental ed course, I got connected with a woman who happened to be, she was a student. Actually, I'm not even sure. I think she had graduated at this point, but she had a connection to UNCG. And she was like, well, if you're interested, I can put you in contact with people and you can see if it's a fit for you. And I'm not going to lie, I was so salty about not being at NC State because like NC State felt like home at this point. I was very kind of like, I don't want to go. It's not NC State. But they were like, it's paid. And I said, well,
if you put it that way.
I was like, oh, why not? So that is how I made my way to UNCG. And I was in they call it THE, it's Teacher Ed and Higher Ed education program. And I focused more in the science education / STEM education side of that. And yeah, I started working more heavily with kids. So a big part of my PhD was working with the Boys and Girls Club, and then pre-COVID also with the refugee center. I was just like, man, this is the calling. This is what we're supposed to do. Just work with kids and tinker. And I was like, it's great. I love it. Also because when I was little, I told my mom I'm going to make her famous. So when I was little, I would take stuff apart all the time. And I'd probably take stuff apart at the worst times to take it apart. Like when someone would need it, then I would have taken it apart. And her like statement was always, she was like, Tara, I swear, them hands, they better make you some money one day because they are always on something. So they better make you money. It's come full circle now. Like the stuff I would get in trouble for, I now get to like teach kids how to do. And it's great.
You're paid to take things apart.
Yeah, they're making me money now. So yeah. that's full circle journey.
I love it. So born and bred and educated in the South, right? How would you describe the political climate especially while you were in grad school? So it's sort of the years that you were in grad school.
Yeah, so kind of sometimes I say my small town upbringing, it's like the double-edged sword. Sometimes it works so much in favor, but then sometimes it feels like I wasn't exposed just to a lot of stuff because there's just this, I don't know, we were very like community oriented, like you knew who asked for stuff. Everyone just knew everyone. And I'm not saying there weren't politics, but we're just like simple country folks. So we're not too worried about, the things that were suddenly being brought to my attention during my PhD. Mm-hmm. And, so with politics, I felt like the harder part was understanding the politics of the department and, who interacts with who. I quickly learned it's not just you acting in your best interest. It's like you have to be strategic with everyone because like some people just don't care. I wasn't really used to that, but that's just the nature of the department, which I've also learned kind of exists everywhere. So that part was hard. And then also coming into a teacher program without being trained as a teacher. So I've always been an informal teacher. I didn't go through like a teacher accreditation program or any of that. I'm not licensed. So then it just felt like I was really out of place the first year because everything related back to the classroom. And I was like, I have no idea what teachers do. In my head, they're there 30 minutes before we got there. And I assumed they left within 30 minutes of us leaving, but apparently teachers stay in school for a very long time. There was a lot going on I didn't know about, so I felt just kind of disconnected on the first year. And I would say the first semester just felt like, it was the worst just because of the transition. So I'm coming from hard sciences and STEM, and then suddenly I'm in education. Everything is like very philosophical. I mean, I guess fitting, doctor of philosophy. It's like there's no real answer. You just make strong suggestions. And I was like, well, can't we just do this? And they're like, no, you have to like theorize it. And I'm like, what does that mean? This feels like a circle. Why are we getting direct answers? All of that was happening.
While you were. And so who helped you kind of like facilitate the politics of your department or higher education, let's say?
I would say I was lucky enough to make my way to a good that kind of under her wing to explain that to me. Like, hey, maybe when you say no to certain things, I know you're saying no just because it's out of the goodness of your heart, but no to other people reads as you don't want to work with me. Yeah, that's probably the trickiest part when you're new, because also in the department, a lot of, I would say 95% of the students have come through that master's program, so they like know everyone they're dealing with. I was like from outside, so I did not know, and just everything that kind of connected everyone, I was just out of the loop on. Like, to this day, I can't tell you what EdTPA stands for, but there's always conversations about, them doing EdTPA, and I'm like, I have no idea. Standard. I don't know. I don't know what happens when you become a teacher. So, I always felt where I belong, but where I don't belong. I just felt like I always had 2 feet, like a foot in each side. It got better after the first semester, because then I took, I think it was community engaged research with Dr. Edna Tan, and I felt like, oh, I see where I belong now, because everyone's trying to compliment you, like, no, what you've done is pretty amazing. I'm like, that's great, but I don't see where that's fitting into anything you're giving me. I don't know how to read these articles. None of these articles are reflective of what I've done. I don't really know. Maybe I need to drop. Maybe I'm just not a fit here. I was like, it's fine. And then I got in that course, and because all of the work I had done with teaching was like very community based informally, then I could see the connections of like, oh, this is where I fit in. I can see the strengths now. So now I see the community based side as a strength, and I used to think it was a big ding on me because I hadn't been taught as a like formal teacher. But now I'm saying like that's also an advantage because I don't think like a teacher. I can think outside teacher mind. So there's some times when it would be helpful probably if I knew these things like what EdTPA stands for. But that's fine.
Maybe not what it stands for.
I know you gotta have it to teach. What is it? I don't know.
It's politics, that's for sure.
I'm not training anyone to do it. So it's fine.
What was the program like? Like, how many students did you all come in as a cohort? How many students were in your cohort?
So I think in mine, I think what they say is like we have this intro course, like 749, and I guess whoever starts in that course is considered your cohort. So in that course, there were 5 of us, and only 2 of us stayed, and we've now finished.
And about how long?
2 of us came in on the same year, and we both started full time. And then the other 3 were kind of in different departments. So some classes are more like you'll take them with. So I was more so in so they always link science and math education, like that's considered the group in teacher ed. But then you have like, literacy and, sorry, I can't think of them all, but they're like, there's an official, like linguistic. There's all these other ones, but me and one other person, like we were science. And the other 3 were like, I think one was doing like leadership. She was in ELC. And I think another one was doing literacy education. So there were 5 of us, but only one other one with science with me. So we wound up spending all our time together. Well, during class.
How long is the program that you were in? Like, about how many? When did you start? When did you finish?
So I started in fall of 2018 and finished spring 2022. So I was able to finish mine in 4 years.
And that's pretty amazing, especially.
I was told that it consider early on time. I don't know what it's called.
It's a feat, we can tell you. It's an accomplishment.
But
COVID was right there.
I will credit me finishing at I don't even know how you call it, but I will credit me finishing at that speed to when I started. I came in on a research project. So from the moment I started like class, got to UNCG, I also had to like collect data per my assistantship. So I was generating like a ton of data each year. I was probably generating a lot each month. So because I remember when COVID hit and some people had to shift and pivot, and I got real concerned. I was like, oh my gosh. Like I was asking my advisor, I was like, I came up with like 6 alternative projects. If I can't do what I was thinking of, like I just need to get a plan in place. She was like, why are you panicking? If you don't go back to the site, you have a ton of data. Just analyze what you have. You have a ton. I was like, do I have enough to make my point? She was like, you do. You're fine. You don't have to go shift your topic. Just look through your data. So that was a big part. I was lucky enough to come in on a research project that was every year.
And so we often hear about how the teaching fraternity is very female and very white. So I'm curious to find out in your program, I guess in your cohort, but maybe even across cohorts, since there wasn't a lot of people in your specific cohort, were there people who looked like you?
Yeah, so I will say this. So THE is teacher education and higher education. I don't really know how they got merged, but I would very much argue they operate as like two very different departments. So in the teacher ed side, there was me, and I'm just naming like persons of color. So we had one student of Nepalese descent. There was one that was biracial, both black and white. And then that I was actually seeing that weren't in the phases of like ABD where they're just not even on campus. Like these were the only three that I was seeing like on a daily. So, and then professor-wise that I was actually interacting with, because again, we just get very like siloed in science and math. There was one other professor, and she's like Singaporean, Chinese descent. So there was your diversity.
And so did you feel like you belonged? Like in what ways did you feel like you belonged? And I don't know what NC State is like, if that's comparable or not.
It's weird. Like, I didn't think it was weird because I've been so used to it since kindergarten. Like, there's always... it feels more weird when there's a lot of people of color in the class. I'm like, oh, this is different. Like that rings my attention more. But coming from state, so before I got to my building, it was very different because I think state has maybe 4% out of the 34,000 are African American. So walking around campus on state, it feels like a sea of white and red shirts. When I got on campus at UNCG, because the school colors are like white and red, so it just feels like a bunch of people wear red shirts. It just feels like that. And so, and there's so many people because it's a huge campus. So UNCG is a lot smaller. I think there's maybe 19,000 students at UNCG. I can't remember the number. Smaller. But then again, before I got to my building where I was going, I was like, oh man, this is really different. Like Black people for miles. And then I got to where I was going, like to my floor, and I was like, oh nope, back to normal. It's back to normal. There's my sea of white now with navy shirts. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
We're back. Cool. And then I got to my floor and I was like, nope, we're back. We're right back where we were. Cool. So it was a problem, but again, it's been such a thing for me since I was 5 that it doesn't like register my attention in that way. It's just like, okay, whatever, it's school. Just do your job, be a student, learn the material. That's how I process school.
But you were able to make friends in your program?
Yeah, I was able to make friends again, but too, it felt very different because one, at the time I started, I was the youngest person like in my cohort and that I was seeing. This was like another weird one. I feel like there was some ageism because they'd always talk about the 20-year-olds and I was like, oh, that's a 27-year-old. Those aren't accurate. And so, because I mean, they're not a lot older, but it's like now there's fellow students who are married, like they have full families, and some of them are going through divorce. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to talk about now. I don't know these things. Sorry. That part of it sometimes made it feel like I don't feel old enough for this. And again, it wasn't everyone, but it was like definitely like they're, I don't know the word for it. Like, I guess you want to say like they're more mature. So I'm coming from this like, and again, I haven't really stopped. It's been like kind of a strictly school thing. So I'm coming like off undergrad and I've gone straight into the master's program. And even then, like at state, it wasn't, I wasn't seeing people as much outside of class, but then again, I already had like an established plot of friends from undergrad, so I wasn't seeking to like build all these new friendships. I mean, some of them occurred just because we had class together. And so then when I like pivoted and now it's like, okay, I'm at UNCG. Yeah, you could just tell it was very different. I was like, oh, they're very mature here. They've got families. And so I remember looking class when everyone would talk about I feel like it's that point in the semester where everything gets rough in November. And they were like, oh my God, everything's stressful. The kids have exams. I'm just trying to get them to December. They're talking about work. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't know if I deserve to be tired, but I'm really stressed. And I have I was like, should this not be this hard for me? I don't have any of this stuff going on that this speaks of. I'm like, I'm drowning. I can't do this. So that part was a weird sense of belonging. I would say that was more where it was being brought to my attention. And two, that's because I've completely normalized being in a room with white people because it's just been a thing. So that wasn't even like the bother for me. It was just like all my friends now have like families and kids. So I was like, okay. So then they'd always joke like, oh, we're just adopting you. It's like, one of our kids.
I just wanted to ask, earlier you said you had graduated in 4 years, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that you had this access to all this data. So what was it like picking your dissertation topic? Like, what type of support did you receive, like, to even think about that, using that data, you know?
Yeah, because at the time, honestly, I just had data and I didn't know what to do with it. Again, it just came with the job of... And this is where I learned people take different approaches to how they want to do their research. I would say one good opportunity I had was I got to work on multiple projects. I probably did maybe 4, 5-ish during my time. And so I got to see the different ways people go about data collection and, you know, no method being right or wrong, just kind of the different ways. And so the one I was favoring that I was appreciative of was at Boys and Girls Club. My advisor, you know, I asked her, I was like, is there a certain way you want this set up? Like, what do I need to look for? Exactly what do you need? And she was way more free with it. She said, just take. She was like, not while you're working with the kids, but when you get home, just type up what you can remember, if it was interesting. She was like, eventually you'll hit something that catches your interest. So she was like, just take notes. You'll figure it out. She was very, just try it, figure it out. And then on a different research project, you know, she had the list, like, these are the points I'm looking for. So try and pay attention to these points of, you know, observation. And so I could do it, but it was different because now I had to like hone in on, well, yeah, how do I know when a kid's seeking recognition? Because, you know, there could be my version of them seeking recognition, and then that advisor could have a different version of what they're looking for when they're seeking recognition. And so it felt a little, sometimes it could be hit and miss, like, oh, I think this is what you mean by that. And then, you know, she may say, it's not exactly what I'm looking for, but okay, try and hone more in on what the topic is. So there was that. And then I would say, because I was working like kind of heavily between both of these projects, they had let me know that I could continue working on both, but at some point I just needed to let them know like which one I wanted to dissertate with, and just let them know. Like at the time, it was very open, just let them know which one I'm feeling more. And I said, okay, cool. Because they said, you know, you're getting data in 2 sources, just let us know. So 1, that'll shape who your chair is, and then 2, you can kind of know which data set you just want to pull more from, but you can still work on both. And I saw myself being drawn more with Boys and Girls Club. And so I decided to move forward with that work. At the time, like even when I backtrack all my papers, like from the first year to now, like you kind of have something in your head that's interesting to you. You don't know it's there. It's like hidden in the text. And so like now I can look at my papers from year one and be like, oh, I was always interested in this. Had no idea what it was called. Just, it's been there. What I saw myself being drawn to is in both of these projects was everyone was like real focused in on the kids and what they were doing. And yes, that was interesting, but I felt like no one was looking at the teachers or the facilitators. I said, but that's the biggest part. They're teaching the kids. Like, why is no one looking at them? They're a part of this. Yeah. And so that was how I kind of came to the topic. And, I focused my dissertation like heavily on that relationship between the educator and the youth and just how that plays a part in what they do, because a lot of research like bypasses that. They're either focused on teachers or they are focused on kids, but they rarely cross a point where they really dig into how the teacher and kid interaction plays a large part of like what's happening.
And it's time for our ad break. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be right back. Are you registered to vote? Do you think you're registered, but want a quick way to double check? From your local school board rep to your senator to the next president of the United States, it's important to vote in every election. Count Us In, centered in Indiana, is here to help make sure your voice is heard. Count Us In also provides resources to help cover voter ID costs, voter education materials, and walk you through what you need to vote by mail or absentee. Visit countusindiana.org to register to vote or simply check your voter registration status in any state. Again, that's countusindiana.org. Your voice matters. Are you a therapist of color struggling to find your place in the mental health world? Sparkle Healing LLC has got you covered. Located in the DC metropolitan area, they focus on helping the helper. Discover their exclusive therapy services designed for therapists and other helping professionals to thrive. Immerse yourself in a supportive community, elevate your practice with expert consulting and supervision, and don't miss their rejuvenating wellness retreats, crafted to replenish your mind and spirit. Sparkle Healing LLC, where therapists find solace, community, and professional growth. Visit them today at www.sparklehealing.com. Tune in to a brighter future. Welcome back to The Color of Success, the Black academic experience.
So, through many, many rounds and talks, that was how I came to a topic. And even then, you're always at like the 1,000-foot level of your questions. Forming research questions will be the bane of our existence. And then somehow I got real honed in and it became a dissertation. But I will say I was, you have all different types of students. So I will say for me, it just became, I'm ready to get done. Like advisor, show me the path of the golden road. I will follow it. I just want to call it a day. I am.
That's today. I was
like, I'm seeing power. I don't even care. Like, what? Lay it out for me. What do I need to do to get done? Like, I've never been a perfectionist, overachiever, none of it. I'm just like, just let me know what I need to do. I'll do it. Let's get done. I want to nip this in the bud. So yeah, I definitely took that approach. Yes, it's a working partnership between you and your chair. It's like this working partnership. But again, when they're kind of telling you, oh, you should consider this, you should look into that, like I was just very much like following. I would still, give my opinion or offer up if there were things I was interested in doing, but I very much at the baseline was like, I'm just going to follow this path until I get done. We can make changes afterwards. let's just get it done. So I like to say I ceded power.
And I want to know if this happened to you, because sometimes when you do that, like you'll do what your advisor says, and then like a month later when you submit the next round, they're just like, why did you choose to do it like that? Did that ever happen to you?
Yeah, so it did, not in bad ways. I just think I've learned professors have so much going on. They really just forget what has even been said from like the last time. So sometimes there would be those points where she'd be like, why did you do this? And I'd be like, because remember we were having that conversation about how to do da-da-da-da-da. She's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, good call. And it was never like a huge deal, but yes, that people, if you're listening, sometimes they just really honestly have so much going on, they really forgot what even got talked about. But I was a very avid note taker, and she knew that. So there was always like a running track of what we had talked about. So that like kind of helped. But again, she's probably skimming this like 5 minutes before we're about to meet, just to get herself up. So it happens there. I was talking with her enough to the point where it was never like, this is not what I asked you to do. Like, you need to change it all. But again, that was our working relationship. So it would happen, but never like a severe setback. I think only at one point, because like not the funny thing, but with my dissertation, I was also such a big part of my dissertation because I was the one running the program, was that I would sometimes struggle to remove myself from my data and just really like take it for face value, because I'm like, well, that's not what happened. That's not how I was thinking. And, she'd remind me, she's like, you're not wrong. Just, you're very deep in your data because you are a part of your dissertation. Like, just remove yourself for a second. Like, really just look at your data and see what's coming out of it. Because I think she made 5 suggestions of things I should do. And in my head, I had done those things. And you're already in such a like high stress, like, oh my God, I need to finish. Am I going to finish? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having a breakdown. And she was like, you look stressed. What's going on? I was like, I don't want to cry, but I don't know what to do because I really thought I did those 5 things you just mentioned. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do now because I thought I did it and I don't want to fail. That was always my thing. Like, it was a test with a percentage. Like, I don't want to fail the test. Okay, here. She told me, she said, you're just very deep in your data and you are a big part of your data. So she was like, you have to learn how to balance coming out of, your own data because you are a big part of it. And so you have to like take a step back, see it from a different angle, and then go back into it. She was like, it's your biggest benefit and probably the one thing that's going to stress you the most about it. So I said, okay. And then cried and then got myself together. And then it was fine. I think that was our last big, oh my God, what are we doing? That was like the last big one that happened. I would say now that just pretty much happens in research meetings. It's like, here's what we need to do. I'm like, that's what I said last week. So, like, this is why I take notes. So yeah, that was probably...
I definitely needed to hear that because I always just have a meltdown. I'm just like, I don't even get to a point where I remind them. I'm just like, you said I should do this. Why are you questioning it now?
Yeah, there's definitely a line between you were sending me on a goose chase because this is completely different than what we said versus like, again, this is me learning just how much professors are doing. And again, this is like me with my advisor. I'm just realizing the ones I've worked with closely, they really just have so much more going on. Like, I always forget I'm not their only student. I forget that part sometimes. So they probably run this dissertation thing like 3 times before they've even talked to me. So they are probably just like, what are you doing again? I forget, they have master's students. It's not even just us doc students, they have classes to teach. They're dealing with their own kids. They're like, yeah, I'm in charge of like 6 master's students. I was like, oh my God, you really don't just deal with me. I forgot. I'm sorry. I forget these things. So yeah. Sometimes
me and Maddie Tito we were just talking about like professors' capacity to like mentor students. Like, it's asking a lot, and they're expected to like mentor sometimes like 6+ doc students. Like, you have to make time, but really you can only make so much time.
Yeah.
Or jam-packed schedule.
And then 2, I don't know what it is. I also want to put in there, like, just noticing from watching everyone, also just how the women professors work versus like the male professors. I just feel like they're always doing the most, but it's like they have to do all these things. Like, they have to. Because some days I'll just be like, what? why are you doing, you look like you're about to fall over with stress. Meanwhile, and I'm not saying our male professors aren't doing work, but I'm like, they just look like, I'm just ready to go home and chill. Like they just
go home and chill, right? Like
that's what they like have carried on. I feel like, is there, because some days I used to be like, are any of these like women happy? I don't know. There's always like a people want to get done, and then it's like it's never done, and then meanwhile, and again, this is just like facial recognition. Male professors just like, hey, chilling. You need a minute? Sure, come in. I'm like, you don't have like 10 meetings to do? We'll just push. Come talk. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, I have noticed that as well. So again, I'm pretty sure they're all over the place.
You had mentioned something earlier about people, sort of like the people in your cohort balancing a lot of things, and, you still feeling like you're stressed and you're tired, but maybe not with the reasons that they have. And so it made me wonder how you were supported throughout your PhD studies. Like, what did that support look like? Be it personal, academic, financial?
Yeah, so how I worked out my supports is I always say, like, get yourself, all you need is like 1 or 2 good people. Get someone that's in a doc program so they fully understand what you're going through. Get someone outside of a doc program so you're not stuck talking about your stuff all the time because they're just going to gloss over. And then, have whatever outlet it is. Like, I kid you not, mine used to just be like on Saturdays, I'm getting up and I'm watching cartoons and eating cereal like a 5-year-old because I just am. I just am, and I don't want to do anything. So that helped me balance because, and I were, too, at the like pre-start of COVID, we had a lot of people in our doc office, so I could really like reach out to the other students and get advice. And so, since at the time I was the first year, everyone else was like year 2 and 3. So they had already been through it. So that was a good part of support. It's like you have all your older siblings that can help you out with whatever's going on because they've been with the professors. They kind of know what to expect. So that was kind of a good outlet. But then, some days I'd want to cut that off and, be with my friends that I've had. None of them are in like master's or doc programs. So, they'll just say, oh, how's it going? And I was like, well, I'm not going to bombard you with everything. I was like, it's fine, school. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then, I'd cut it off, not really talk about it unless it was like something that was just pressing. And then I'd bring it up. And then my parents would check in a lot, general, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, it's good. Because again, you don't want to bore anyone. And then I think like me restraining in that way would also help me to not continuously go over it. And so yeah, just like compartmentalizing supports. My assistantship was paid. I feel like it was easier for me because I hadn't worked. I'd only done Peace Corps and that's still making no money. So, yeah, I never had like the stress of, oh my goodness, I left all this money. It's like, nope, I've been here the whole time. At least we're getting paid. But I remember in the first year, because I moved to Greensboro from Raleigh, I got a part-time job. So I started subbing because I could do like a half day so I wouldn't be too overwhelmed. I liked it because it was flexible because you just choose when you want to sub. I could say, all right, I have 4 hours to spare in the morning. I'm just going to go sub, make that, and then, come do research in the afternoon. That was a big one for me in the first year. I would do that. Yeah, definitely there was a hard shift like once the pandemic hit, but then also pre-pandemic, like we try to coordinate like happy hours or something. Again, we're all leaving class at the same time, and but then also realizing a lot, like some of the students didn't live in Greensboro, but we had a pretty good like, hey, we're gonna hang out and do something. We were pretty good about that. So I never felt too like I'm left.
We used to do something similar. We would have like dinners one Thursday a month with our classmates after class. So it is nice that when we had in-person classes, just to have that, oh, let's all meet and just like kind of, talk and see each other physically.
Yeah, or just that like 20-30 minute right after class, like debrief.
Yeah. And the spring semester is dark too, so it's just like, dark, cold, dry. So is there any support that you wish that you had, that you didn't have?
Something had happened and my advisor asked me, she said, hey, I just want to check in on how your payment, your tuition, everything. She said, is there anything that you have to pay out of pocket? And this is maybe like third year-ish. And I said, oh yeah, I just pay the fees and insurance. I have to get insurance. And she said, well, how much are you paying for that? And her reasoning was, she just wasn't aware. And she said, why didn't you tell us that you were paying this? Like, we would have tried to work something out. And I told her, I said, well, when I first came in and I asked, was it going to be covered? Because it was covered at NC State. I had health insurance when I was a grad assistant at NC State. And when I got to UNCG, when I did kind of one of my first meetings about what the work was going to be in the research projects, and I said, will fees be covered or will I have insurance? And, not in a mean way or anything. It was just like, oh yeah, no, we just do the tuition reimbursement. You cover fees. And, essentially fair deal. You cover the $4,000. I will cover this $800. Cool. That sounds like a good deal. And I kind of wish I had known that I could have asked or advocated, because then later I learned when she started asking, she was like, oh my God, like, I wish I had known, because I would have figured something out. Like, you should not have to pay that. And I was like, but it's fine. Like, I'd rather y'all pay the $4,000, because basically I was terrified. I was like, please don't mess up the tuition. I need that one paid. And so I just kind of wish, like, we knew, usually if your insurance and fees aren't covered, and I guess this depends on how they've worked it out, sometimes that is dependent on the research project and how that is set up, but you may have access to it. But I just didn't know, and I didn't go back to it to ask. And I remember, like, I think it was my third year, like, had a mini emotional moment, because I said, this is the first year I've like done college and I didn't have to ask for anything. I didn't have to do a Sally Mae loan thing. Like, it was all covered. It's like, okay, cool. Just knowing, some answers aren't super final. And always ask multiple people, because I've also learned all the professors don't know the same thing. There's always something that one doesn't know that one does. Another one knows it in a different way. So ask around, because I feel like I've done, like, it could be a show like The Secret Lives of Professors, like, just from really being around them. How much I've learned. Like, so all 6 of you know 6 different things. Cool. Don't know who's right. Usually no one knows what's going on. So if there's something you want to ask about, ask.
And so what was your transition like outside of your doc program to what you are doing today?
Oh my gosh, it was so rough. I don't even know if I should call it depression. It was just, I felt like identity crisis, because I've always, so the position I have now is a postdoc, and I knew I didn't want to go straight into applying for professor positions. And I try to tell folks it's not, because the first thing tells, I was like, I just don't feel prepared. I'm like, no, you would make a great professor. It's like, yes, I agree. I know I would make a great professor. I just don't think that's the best move for me. It's not always me doubting myself. I just don't think it's the best move. And those are 2 different things. I get people are just trying to be nice, but sometimes it's not always that we are doubting what we can do. Just sometimes it doesn't feel like the best move. Like, I knew, I don't think I really want to go into professorship, but I also was very well aware, like, everything I had done had been in like student form along with research. So, I had an open conversation with my chair, and, she works in small groups. So I kind of pitched it to her in her kitchen, like, very abruptly. I was like, hey, it's going to be so much work if you have to like get a new person and train them. So I was wondering if we could just make this a postdoc. Postdoc positions can get made. Never hesitate to ask for them. It's all a question of funding. Just ask. Again, always ask. If you are unsure, always ask, and ask at least 3 to 4 people. Yeah, I told her, I said, I mean, because if I left and did this somewhere else, I was like, I know I want to work in community. Postdoc positions are like temporary, a year or 2. I'm like, if you're doing actual good community work, it takes you a good 1.5 years to get that established. I was like, and then I'm going to be on the way out. So I don't know how much, I can really do somewhere new, trying to build community and do research and all this stuff. Plus, by the time I say, hey, I'm going to have to transition out and be looking for another job. I told her all of that. I said I would feel more comfortable with this because, one, I've been at the club with the kids for 4 years. I understand how it works. I would be more, just able to kind of hit the ground running with actual just like becoming a researcher full time. Because I was like, I need to know what this job is when I don't have to go to class. Because there's like this cushion that's on us as like grad students where you're loosely limited to that 20 hours. I feel like it just ebbs and flows because we don't have to punch a clock. So some days it feels like we did 3 hours of work. And then some days everything's happening and it feels like I probably did a 40-hour work week. I don't know if there's a hard stop. I just realized it happened. It just happens sometimes, but I was never so overwhelmed that I was like, I just can't do it. And if I was feeling overwhelmed, usually I was close enough with my advisor, I could express that, like, I think I might be overwhelmed. Can I just like maybe not show up for this one thing? Like, I just think I need a minute. So yeah, I pitched it to her in that way. And so she worked very heavily on the back end to try and create a position for me. I think I told her this like a year, like right before the start of my last year. As I had said, like, I've just kind of been on this student trajectory. Like, even when I left and did Peace Corps, it was still like, but I'm here to do research for school. So students just been tied to my identity. And then it was like really becoming final. Like, I remember that whole last year. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even going to have anything else to celebrate with the fam. The running jokes are done. Like, I'm really going to graduate and they're not going to joke about me being in school anymore. It's really about to be done. Because, they've just associated everything with me being a student is a part of me. And it was like really coming to an end. Like, this is it. You've got all the degrees. Really? Well, you can go back and get another one. I'm like, I'm not that upset about it. It's just different. I don't want to ever come back here because being in school, everything feels like very static. Like, you are getting older, but you just feel like in this student hole. Preparing for that transition was just rough. Summer felt normal because I still did the same things I would usually do, but I think that summer was also the first time, like, because when they first doctor you, I don't know, there's like a random point when you actually feel like, oh, I'm Dr. So-and-so. It doesn't, well, for me, it didn't really hit for a while because everything went back to normal. Like, I defended on a Monday, February 22nd. They're like, you're Dr. Worsley now. It's like, great. I went to the club the next day, like nothing changed. Like, hey kids, back to regular programming. Like, everything just felt very normal. There was no hardcore signal of like, things are changed because, it's like halfway through the semester. Nothing immediately changes. I think like going into the summer was like my first kind of hit of it because I taught a class and they were like, well, yeah, we just need someone to teach it. And I was like, I don't know. They said, yeah, but you have your PhD, so you're qualified. I was like, I'm qualified for this by PhD terms? They were like, yeah. And then they like told me like I was like, oh my God, is this what y'all be doing? This is money. Okay, cool. So I taught the class and then, went back to regular scheduled research. And then again, because it was like a continuation of what I was doing, it was good, but it also felt complacent because it's like the same things. Like, it's the exact same schedule, just like without class. So it feels like your fourth year almost all over again. which is like good and bad. It's super flexible. Like, I'm thankful. And luckily my advisor was like great enough where she said, you know, here's what I'm requiring of you. I want you to use this as a time to prep yourself. Like, whatever you want to look into, you want to do, like, use this as a time to set you up. And, you know, I was thankful because she also made it a 2-year position. And she said, you know, she was like, second year is kind of like just to cushion you as you go on to other things. So I had like time to just kind of process, what do I want to do? And, you know, because you're done, you can, you know, reach out to more people. And like, just, that was a new one, just how much comes with, oh, you're not a student, you can do X, Y, Z. So yeah, I, again, continuing work, but then at the same time, just really, I took the time to just think about, you know, what do I want to do after this? So it was like a nice little cushion, you know, not feel super anxious, like, oh my gosh, I got to do this and that. Because if you've never like just seen The Office during when people are looking for jobs, it is, you get like bypass stress. Like, you're anxious about your job. I'm like, I'm not even defending. I'm like a second year. Y'all are all over the place in here. Because, you know, it's so intense because, you know, the narrative around these like professor positions, you get a PhD, you get a professorship, go about your business, that's your career. And then this past year, one of my other jobs, like, I've actually been watching the jobs board. And I was like, the math isn't even mathing. They really make us feel bad if we don't land a professorship, but like 30 of these jobs have opened up. There's at least 800 people graduating with a PhD. So literally we all can't book positions. And I was like, why do they make us feel bad when we don't? Like, oh, you didn't get one? Sorry. I'm like, the math just doesn't math. You're literally that business plan. You're just waiting for someone to retire, get mad and leave, or like die. I mean, literally, that's the only way to clear up professor positions. And it's just, I'm like, this is a mess. Like, it's just so high stakes for everyone. And then, you know, they're getting invited out. They're probably repeating this exact same interview process 3 or 4 times. They're waiting to hear back. You think everything went well, and they're like, oh, sorry, we're not moving on with you. And then when you talk to more students, even learning, yeah, sometimes they're just inviting you out as policy. They know you're not getting this job, but they have to invite 3 people out per, so they're not being discriminatory. But sometimes they'll already have people in place for jobs. They just have to do the cordial thing and invite everybody. So is that like just learning all this? I was like, oh, okay. So yeah.
One more question. So like, in your reflection, what value do you think that going through all of this work for your doctoral degree added to you and your professional and personal goals?
I think going through the process, do not let others make you feel like you owe them or you have to follow what they're saying. And I say that because, again, like, as I kind of just said, getting the PhD feels like a funnel, like you've been funneled into professorship. And then when you don't want to follow that path, like I've noticed even from my time, like when you do not follow the typical things, it's like it puts a target on your back. And rather than, you know, them offer suggestions, it's just kind of like, well, why don't you want to do this? Sometimes you don't have to do it. I've seen like sometimes professors just invoke power on students to make you feel bad, like you have to do X, Y, Z. And sometimes you don't. But like, understand when it's your job and you need to, even though you may not want to, versus they're abusing your time. And so I would say one of my big lessons I learned / I'm proud I didn't get into it was, you know, even if you don't have to say yes to everything, even if they're the ones paying you. Like, yes, there's a job for you to do, but also be very aware when they're going outside the scope of what you're supposed to do. Like, they can't guilt you because they didn't finish something and they have a flight from a conference, and then they'll cry in front of you and you feel like, oh my God, I need to fix it because you're crying and you're the professor. It's like, no, sometimes it's just a tactic because you're the grad student and they know they have power and they want to make you feel bad, so you feel inclined to do X, Y, Z. And I saw how me not saying yes to all of those opportunities made it come off as, I don't know, maybe she doesn't want to do all X, Y, Z. It's like, no, I do, but I'm not waking up at 10:30 to code this work because you have a flight.
And you're crying.
I'm not about to stress myself to do something that was on your task list. I mean, if stuff happens, okay. But I mean, I'm not about to stress because you knew the conference was coming. You got flights. You dropped the ball. Now you want to make all of us feel bad. And I've seen the other students be like, yeah, don't worry. I can take da 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 da. And I was like, she's like, is there a part you can do? No, by tomorrow. Not by tomorrow. They make you feel sense of urgency. Like, if you don't do it, like, honestly, it's an illusion. It's not going to happen. Right. In every case, like, understand when it's a power trip on you, and they don't like that all the time. So I would say, like, know your non-negotiables when you're doing your work. There's a way to learn. There's a way to open yourself up to other opportunities, but also in the same font, like, just do not let them take advantage of you. Because I think they forget sometimes it's like, but it's your job to mentor me as well. Like, that is a part of your job. Yeah. And then also, ask us our opinion and we're not being rude, take the feedback. You can't teach how you should be open and then not be open. That doesn't work. So yeah, it's like, I know we're about out of time, but then there's like the dark side.
Yeah, so I definitely hear you talk about advocacy, like advocating for yourself, and that's something that's really important and valuable throughout your graduate school journey.
Find your support and make sure you feel like it's support, not the people that are designated support. Because if I had $1 for every time I heard, I'm a safe space, it's like, I hear you, but actions say otherwise. Like, your position makes you a safe space. You say that. I don't feel that. Your actions say otherwise. And it's okay if you don't want to let them into everything. You're not required to do that. So, like, protect yourself and find who will protect you. And if nobody's willing to protect you, it's probably not the best program. It's probably not good for you if you can't find one person to advocate for you.
So as we finish up, we just like to ask, if your dissertation, or let's just say your doctoral graduate journey, was a novel, what would you title your novel?
I would probably say, this first thing that came to my head, I'd probably say, like, maybe it's you. You're the obstacle. You're really in an inner battle with yourself. And as much as you're trying to learn, it's also like you have to learn to trust yourself in whatever you're doing and accept where you're at with things, because it's okay. If you spend your whole second year like, I have no idea what I'm doing, fine. Soak in it, bask in it, bask in the I don't know. Don't force yourself to know. Bask in it. Be like, I don't know. And I'm a student, so that's fine. Then when you feel like you do know, trust that you know. Even if you don't maybe have all the sub points and whatnot, if you feel that you were right, go with it. There's a learning aspect where you're learning material, but you're also learning about you. Sometimes you'll falter, and that's fine. You will pick yourself back up and restart. Always trust your gut. If it feels wrong, it feels wrong, and you can express that again. People who feel like they have the power over you will try and make you feel like your own thoughts are wrong, but if you feel strongly, just go with it, and whatever comes from that. Because again, if it is that serious, like, you can always go up the chain. Like, I've gone up the chain for things, and I don't regret it, because I knew I was right. I was like, this is wrong. This is the wrong situation, and y'all need to be called out. And I didn't feel bad about it. Some professors tried to make me feel bad about it. But I was like, I don't care. I'm not sacrificing my integrity just to get a PhD. Like, no, absolutely not. Because I have to walk out of this program and be okay with whatever happened and went down. So yeah, maybe it's you're the obstacle, but also just trust in yourself, feel the vibes.
So you're the obstacle, but you're also the path.
Yeah. Sometimes you're the rock in the middle of the road, but also sometimes it's like maybe you just need to make another path and just follow it. Go with how you're feeling. It's okay.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Worsley, for taking time out to reflect with us and to share your experiences. This is definitely, you said so many things that we needed to hear. I needed to hear today, but I think even tomorrow I'll need to hear, some of the things you're saying. So really, thank you for taking time out and sharing with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for inviting me.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, and the like button. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. We are @_color of success. Bye-bye now.